With everything Donald Trump has said during his time in politics, it's very rare when you hear him say something that truly shocks you because we're all so desensitized from the constant news about Donald Trump calling people vermin and animals and human scum, enemies within America, communist, Marxist, fascist, whatever. But I think this may have just lost Donald Trump the election that he was probably already going to lose. But this just cements and solidifies every criticism we have been saying about Donald Trump. Here he's talking about Dick and Liz Cheney.
And I don't blame him for sticking with his daughter, but his daughter is a very dumb individual, very dumb. She's a radical war hawk. Let's put her with a rifle standing there with 9 barrels shooting at her, okay? Let's see how she feels about it. You know, when the guns are trained on her face.
I know Joe Biden called people who think Puerto Rico is a floating island of garbage, but this might be just a little bit worse, so maybe the media can actually cover it correctly. And because the media has sane-washed Donald Trump so much, and we cannot trust them to give this issue justice, please drop a like on this video and subscribe to my channel to make sure this message gets out there. What makes Donald Trump so unpredictable and dangerous is that he has no beliefs other than him having ultimate power, other than his brand looking good, other than Donald Trump being the story that is talked about across the entire world, his narcissism. He doesn't have a vision for the world. There are no principles. He will be whatever it takes to get power. And that's why it's scary now, because the people around him are all actual neo-Nazis. That's why Donald Trump is quoting Hitler. That's why Donald Trump is calling immigrants the poison, they're poisoning the blood of our country. That's why Donald Trump is talking about eugenics and how immigrants are spreading bad genes in our country. And that's why Donald Trump is fantasizing about military tribunals and decapitating journalists. And now, this is how Donald Trump got to the point where he is suggesting we should be testing Liz Cheney by a firing squad, I assume, by pointing weapons at her. And this is very intentional. In every fascist authoritarian regime, you talk about things that are very violent, and no one believes it. Everyone's like, oh, he doesn't really mean that. And as we continue on, he gets closer and closer and closer and closer to actually calling for direct violence. And that's what makes Donald Trump so serious. That's what makes the Donald Trump issue so serious. He has no principles. And he will say he lost. No, he won't say he lost. He will lie about this election no matter what, as he's trying to steal it. He will cause violence, division, and chaos no matter what happens. And that's why Donald Trump must be defeated. Now, Donald Trump saying this right before an election, and after Kamala Harris and all of his former generals have been calling him a fascist to the core, this reinforces that idea. Donald Trump just gave everyone the ideas and the content they need of his own words. This video of him saying and openly, he's been talking about the enemy within and using the military against his political opponents already. But now this is directly, I feel like anyone needs to look at this and reconsider their vote. I feel like anyone, any reasonable person, and reasonable is a big word, but any person should listen to him say this and feel like they need to rush to the polls to make sure he cannot become president. If you don't want people to compare you to Hitler, stop saying Hitler things.